Hey there, what is up you guys? I am Jerry and welcome back to the channel, The Chicago Griller. This is the show where I share my favorite tips, tricks, and recipes for the Weber Q. If you think that I can help you out, hit the like button and subscribe. Today's video is the result of an impulse buy. You see, at the grocery store today, I found these individually wrapped bison steaks, and I thought it would be really fun to try these out on the channel. There's a couple of reasons why one would choose bison steak over beef steak, and I'll explain in this video, as well as show you how to properly cook them. So hang around after the intro and let's see how this is done. Today on the channel, I'll be grilling up this 10-ounce bison ribeye steak. Like I said in the intro, I saw this in the refrigerated section at my local grocery store and knew I had to get it for today's video. But why would anyone choose bison over beef? Well, across all cuts of the meat, bison has more protein but fewer calories and much less fat. This is quite readily evident when you look at this steak, as you don't see a lot of intramuscular marbling, and what you can see is quite fine. Contrast this to the beef ribeye that I cooked up on my channel in the past, and you could see quite a lot of intramuscular marbling. That said, you don't sacrifice any taste with bison. It can be just as tender and flavorful. You just have to take some extra care during the grilling process so that it doesn't dry out. This particular bison steak that I have today is pretty thin, so I think it will cook quite quickly on the grill. To prep it for the grill, we're going to follow the same steps that we would for a beef steak. So the first step is to grab a paper towel and pat all surfaces of your steak dry. This will ensure a good and efficient sear once the steak hits the grill. Next, drizzle a light layer of olive or avocado oil and then work that in gently with your hands. This will ensure that the steak doesn't stick to the grill during the grilling process and that all your seasonings adhere to the steak. And speaking of seasonings, today I'm going to use Montreal steak seasonings, which is a great all-arounder for, well, duh, steak. Once you've sprinkled it on one side, pat that in with your clean hands, flip your steak over, and of course, repeat this process on the second side. And once you've flipped over your steak and oiled and seasoned that second side, we are ready to head on out to our grill. And for today's cook, I'll be using my Weber Q2000. It has been preheating for about 10 to 15 minutes at a high heat, which is where we'll leave the gas knob. And now I'll place my bison ribeye across the grill grates, press gently to make sure they have good contact with the grates, shut the lid and let this cook. I'm not going to go too far because after 90 seconds, I'm going to open the lid once again and just give my steak a 90-degree turn. This step is not really necessary. You might get a little bit more texture or bite out of this, but really what it does is it gives you nice crosshatch sear marks, just like you would in a steakhouse. Shut the lid and cook for another 90 seconds. After 90 seconds, for a total of 3 minutes on the grill so far, it's time to give our steak a flip. And there you go. There are your nice steakhouse style crosshatch sear marks. We're going to close the lid one last time and let this steak finish cooking on the grill. So here we are at the 6-minute mark, and because this was a pretty thin steak, I'm going to start checking for doneness. Remember, bison does not have as much fat as an equivalent cut of beef, so it's not as forgiving on the grill. In my opinion, you really don't want to cook this more than medium rare, which means you gotta pull it when the internal temp reaches between 120 and 125 degrees Fahrenheit, which is right where I'm at today. So now with the steak off the grill, let's head on back inside and see how we did. This steak has been resting under foil for about 10 minutes, and here we are. Check that out. Looks pretty good, right? And as you can see, after 10 minutes of rest, some of the juices have started to run out and through the steak as the muscle fibers start to relax. But let's cut inside the steak and see how we did. Remember, it should be pink throughout as we were going for medium rare. And here we go, cutting straight down the middle, and the big reveal. That's perfect. Pink throughout, a perfect medium rare. This should be moist, tender, and flavorful, exactly what we're looking for in a well-executed steak. Let me just get a couple more pieces cut off here of this ribeye, and then you know what? I'm going to sample this end piece right here. Look at how juicy and delicious this looks. And oh yeah, it is so good. To be honest, I can't even tell that it's bison. I mean, it just tastes so similar to an equivalent cut of beef. Maybe a little bit chewier because there's not as much fat content. But you know what? I'm not the expert. Let's see what Huey has to think about this. Yeah, he gobbled that up in a hurry. Must have been pretty good. Anyways, don't shy away from bison or bison steak if you see it in your grocery store. It is a touch more expensive than the equivalent cuts of beef, but as I said before, there are a number of health benefits to having bison. Thank you very much as always for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Bye!